To Knoxville. Former Vols Steve Hamer, Andy Brock with you. Steve, Tennessee, they're in the business of reloading. They've done so. No more eyes on talented freshman Nate Ament, and he lived up to the hype in week one.
Very much so. This, in the great words of Dick Vitale, this diaper dandy can do it all, particularly when you look at what you're about to see here. Slashing to the paint. He can Euro to the paint as well. And oh, by the way, I can knock down a corner jumper. Big time prospect.
SEC Freshman of the Week in week one. He leads Tennessee in points and rebounds. And of course, he has a lot of eyes on him being a highly rated recruit. Just felt like he was cool under pressure.
Yeah, the moment is never too big for Nate Ament thus far this season. And I would not expect this to be the last time that he gets Freshman of the Week.
On the other end, North Florida, top 5 scorers gone from last season. They got a new head coach in Bobby Kinnan. They're going to rely on this guy, Cameron Oriole, 19 points in game 1 against Florida.
Yeah, a bird of a different feather, right? Oriole playing for the Ospreys. As Oriole goes, the Ospreys go as well. They're going to need him to have a big-time performance tonight for them to have a chance against the Volunteers.
The Birds are in flight. They have headed up north to Knoxville. Back-to-back SEC games for North Florida. Tennessee, they've been home for their first 3 games. Rocky Top is up on their feet and ready to go.
Well, right away, Andy, I think that, you know, the fans out there from both teams, you're going to see a decided heighted disadvantage for the Ospreys. And look for the Volunteers to get the ball in the interior as they turn it over in the first possession.
Early giveaway from Ethan Berg. Orioles swooped in to grab it. This is starting 5 for North Florida and Bobby Kinnan. Just game 2 for the Ospreys. Felix Akpara rejection. Tennessee wants to run. Gillespie to the rim. He'll take a foul.
Yeah, I think we're going to keep track of the blocks as well tonight. You know, we talked about this in the pregame. You know, it's going to be a challenge. Anytime you go amongst the trees and you have that type of, or lack of stature, if you will, it's going to be a long night.
Tennessee has really made their living early going this season in the paint. This might be one of the more prosperous paint presences that Rick Barnes has had in his tenure at Tennessee, and they're going to utilize that.
Well, I mean, in his arsenal, he's got 5 guys. I mean, 5 true guys that are vying for playing time. You know, and we'll talk about this much throughout this broadcast, but, you know, you look at Jalen Carey and J.P. Estrella, Felix Akpara on the floor, Cade Phillips on the floor, and then you got a budding sensational freshman in you know, that's come in and that's trying to get some playing time of his own.
Gillespie 1 for 2 at the line. Talented transfer from Maryland. Other end, North Florida 3 from Mason Lee off the mark. And now freshman Nate Ament off of a fantastic first week of collegiate action can get that bucket. Different lineup for head coach Rick Barnes. Game 3, Tennessee's had a different lineup in all of it.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, you know, they had two games last year where they had a different lineup. So, you know, I think this is good. It's a live audition. We've talked about this before, but it's good for these guys to see someone other than orange and white and have some real competition.
Gillespie trying to find Cade Phillips on the lob. Can't connect. 3 on the other end, good. Kent Jackson drains it.
Kent Jackson, man, smooth stroke, man, smooth operator. Saw that many times in shoot-around just today.
And now Gillespie has his pocket pick from Jackson. Jackson all the way down. Smooth pass and finish. Devin Hines gets it to go.
Yeah, that's what you want if you're an Osprey, man. Turn Tennessee over. You know, Tennessee has a tendency to get a little loose with the passes, get a little loose, be a little lackadaisical. You know, this right here can keep an underdog into a ball game, especially early.
North Florida making it very uncomfortable for Tennessee right now. The Volunteers have had a bit of a turnover issue in their first 2 games, 19 in that game 1 win over Mercer. They cut that down to 12 Saturday against Northern Kentucky, but Coach Barnes knows they could still be better. Well,
that's a point of emphasis, right? Because rarely will you see a Coach Barnes basketball team that has a 1-to-1 assist-turnover ratio like they did in the first game with 19 and 19.
Vols looking to settle in after an aggressive start from North Florida. Phillips, easy look right there, just couldn't connect.
Yeah, just kind of pulled the trigger on that one.
Oriole to the 10 and swatted. Cade Phillips, defensive gym. Ament on the other end using his length.
Yeah, and you said it, that's very apropos Andy using that length because he's a high riser. But the most impressive thing about Nate is that he gets it off at the highest release point.
Really up-tempo play here in the first 3 minutes of this one. Tennessee generates a turnover. Gillespie, hard contact. Ament rips it away. Ball's flying everywhere. Out of play, it'll stay Tennessee ball.
Yeah, a little helter-skelter-ish if you're Tennessee right now. Look for them to settle in, get some easy baskets, and you talk about a legendary head coach and Coach Barnes, man. He, again, this is a live audition. If you want playing time, come SEC play, you better make the most of what you got right now.
And that was freshman Troy Henderson who took the three. It's a Tennessee team that is going to look to a lot of freshmen to contribute. Tennessee is without Bishop Boswell, who started the first 2 games. So opportunity for some of these guys to earn more minutes tonight.
And Bishop Boswell had been playing well. Hit a couple of threes in their last game. A bit of a coming out party for him.
Jumper good. Cameron Oriole picking right back up. He left off against Florida last week.
Really good looking player.
Here's J.P. Estrella. He's had a great start to the year. Followed his shot for an easy 2.
Sometimes I think with J.P. Estrella, man, he's on a pogo stick because he's got the type of athleticism. If he misses it, he doesn't stay on the floor long. He gets right back up with 2 hands and goes back up with it.
Estrella cuts North Florida's lead to 2. A deep 3 from Jackson, no good. Gillespie all alone. A smooth finish with the jam.
That's what he can do. And I think that is the type of play that gets him into a rhythm, right? Gets him to settle in and gets Tennessee going.
Both teams just settling into these first 4 minutes. Good start for North Florida right out of the gates. Oriole, that pass stolen. Henderson. Freshman Henderson looking for fellow freshman Ament. Close to what could have been a highlight alley-oop.
Yeah, the timing just wasn't there. I don't think Nate expected that. But, again, those type of things, because of the lack of continuity with these newcomers, that'll come in time.
Tennessee, good defense inside again. It's going to be really difficult for North Florida to make a living down low. Henderson, he's a sharpshooter, nails that one.
Hey, he's not bashful. Sometimes freshmen come in and they try to get their feet wet and try to, acclimate themselves to what coach wants them to do. But this guy's not shy at all. He's going to put it up.
Tennessee's got their first lead very early into this matchup. Here's Lee out to Oriole.
Good extra
Wide
pass.
open as Devin Hines can't connect that time.
Yeah, need to knock those down. That's a terrific extra pass. Caught Tennessee in rotation.
Gillespie, floater, Silk.
Yeah, that was too easy. Way too easy if you're the Ospreys.
Up-tempo start for these 2 teams. Hold on to your popcorn because we're moving fast, Steve.
Yeah, great ahead pass. Troy Henderson, man, let me get it to the guy that is a high riser that can finish above the rim.
Tennessee by 5. They're on a 9-0 run over the last 99 seconds. Jolt of energy to start this game. North Florida, though, certainly giving Tennessee a lot to handle. They don't return a lot, Steve. Just 11 points per game back on this roster from last year. But it's a team that's going to be built on toughness.
Yeah, they are. And, when you talk to head coach at shoot-around today, that's tough. When you're returning 14% of the scoring, and that's primarily one guy that has, makes up that scoring. It's hard for a mid-major program to come into this environment, to go to the Exact Tech Arena down in Florida and have success because you don't know what you don't know. The only way to have an experience is to have an experience. So I think this is going to bode well for the Ospreys moving forward as they get into conference play later.
That is life in college basketball for a lot of mid-majors. You have a completely new team every year. Transfer portal, new staff. In some ways for North Florida, Bobby Kennan in his first year as head coach, but in his 17th season with the program. He now steps into the helm as Matthew Driscoll departs after 16 seasons.
Yeah, and this place means everything to him, right? He cut his teeth coaching here, and family is everything to him. So he's going to pour every ounce of his being into making sure that he turns this program into something special.
And he spoke so highly of his guys and the team bonding they did over the offseason. just getting in there and investing in this group and knowing that every game, every little moment, every week is going to be a process to get us where we want to in March.
Yeah, and talking to coach and shoot around, lots of teams have mantras, right? Tennessee's is it's not about me, Edom. I said, describe the Ospreys in one word, and he said family, right? Because they have that sense. And you look down at his arm, and he's got goosebumps because it means something to him.
Amen, a good look. And Tennessee with a clear height advantage. Had his head over the defender, couldn't finish it. Other way, a good pump fake. Mason Lee gets two.
Yeah, Coach Barnes is not going to be happy about that. That is just a bad attempt to get back on defense. And again, if you're the Ospreys, man, as many easy buckets as you can get at the 10, you'll take those.
Amen on the right wing is 1 for 3 to start his evening. JP Estrella going to work. He's had a great start his redshirt sophomore season, coming off a career-high 17 on Saturday.
Well, that's just too easy, right? If you're Tennessee basketball, you need to play to your strengths. And obviously tonight, a strength is just to get the ball on the interior.
From the top of the key off the mark, Trey Cady. Rebound by Amen. Coach Barnes always preaches, let's get the ball to our paint guys. And so far, Tennessee's done that this year. Amen. 3. Rims out. Estrella all over it. Second chance for Tennessee. Gillespie off the mark as well.
Yeah, and the best time to take a three-point shot is off an offensive rebound. So you have JP Estrella who got the rebound. But you look here, this is a lack of effort to get back to understand that, man, someone is behind me that has a different uniform on, so I need to get back and protect.
North Florida lost in game 1 last week, 64-104 at defending national champion Florida. And now you come to Knoxville. It's two very physical teams. And the message is, can we play at that same physicality? Can we grow from that Florida experience to this one? Can we get that much bit better?
And oftentimes nice, beautiful cut, man. That's an out of bounds play. That's a staple for Coach Barnes. But, a lot of times, Andy, your biggest growth as an individual, as a team, is from game 1 to game 2. So will they come into this environment intimidated, or will they come in ready to play?
Offensive whistle on Trey Cady, and here's the wide open look for Ethan Bird.
Yeah, just to screen the screener. Great screen by Dwayne Brown. We talked about him a little bit earlier, the freshman that comes in that's not intimidated at all. Great screen the screener action leads to a wide open layup.
Tennessee a 2-0 start, wins over Mercer and Northern Kentucky. Both those games, Steve, a bit slow out of the gates, but able to go on runs against Mercer. The paint did good work. First half against Northern Kentucky, 10 made threes.
Yeah, and I think what you just saw there is a bit of a bugaboo for Tennessee basketball. Just make the easy play. Go in, play off of 2 feet. If I've heard Coach Barnes say that once, I've heard him say it 1,000 times. Play off of 2 feet, okay? When you play off 2 feet, you don't make those passes because you're under control. So that's something that Tennessee basketball is going to have to shore up.
Tennessee relying on several key freshmen, a couple of key transfers. Really hard take at the rim for Devin Hines. Got his own miss for 2.
Love that. They cleared out the right side, and Devin Hines had one-on-one and utilized it.
Henderson, same spot he made one earlier. Everything but in that time for the freshman.
Great box out by the Ospreys, limiting Tennessee to that one shot on that possession.
North Florida within 5 here in the first half. Wide open 3 again from the corner. This one, no doubt, Devin Hines off to a good start in this one.
Making Tennessee basketball move on defense. Move the ball from right to left. You draw Tennessee, draw the help defender, and more times than not, you're going to have a wide open jumper.
7 points for Devin Hines. Grad transfer from Lafayette, heating up.
Heating up, man. I'm going to beat you one-on-one and get to the basket, man. Ospreys need more of that.
Close one early. Game 3 of the season for Tennessee. Game 2 for North Florida. Volunteers looking to reload after what was a second straight Elite Eight appearance. It's the first time they've ever done that in program history. A team that has consistently been in the top 20 and among the best teams in the SEC.
Yeah, just trying to break through that proverbial ceiling, you know, if you're Tennessee basketball, to reach that elusive Final Four and just run into some buzzsaws from the last couple of years, you know. There was a pretty good center that Purdue had. I think his name was Zach Edey, and then one of the best defenses in terms of efficiency with Houston last year. So, you know, Coach Barnes, he epitomizes character and integrity and just obviously his prowess in coaching. This team is going to be a special team, in my opinion, and can take Tennessee to their first ever Final Four.
That has been the goal for this Tennessee program under Rick Barnes. They've certainly, year after year, positioned themselves. They were 14-0 last year, #1 there for a good couple of weeks. Made it to the SEC Championship Final, Elite Eight. And this team has the tough task of replacing some really key figures. Zakai Zivo, Jemai Mashak, some true leaders and defensive menaces that you have to replace.
Well, we talked about continuity, and this is the one thing that's a beautiful jump hook. If he can add that to his repertoire, man, he's going to be a good player. But, you know, you talk about the continuity or lack thereof. These guys just hadn't played together long enough.
Still very early into this new college basketball campaign.
North Florida, man, they're running some really good offense here, making Tennessee move.
Hines baseline, swinging the ball, Okpara, huge swat.
Hey, man, you may be able to get that shot off in the A-Sun, but when you've got an SEC, all-SEC defender leaping out at you with that type of wingspan, return to sender, Andy.
That was a volleyball spike. Okpara, you see him make a lot of blocks in the paint. That time he got to rise on the perimeter. Tennessee already 3 block shots on the night. They've got the height advantage.
They do.
3 on the shot clock. Oriole has to launch one and banks it in.
Whoa.
Unbelievable.
Whoa. If you go back and you look at the game against Florida, he did the same thing, so kind of mimics that. But he's got the confidence.
Okpara on the other end. Tries one from the top of the key. Whistle underneath on Tennessee. Did he call back, Steve?
You know, the bank is still open, man. Shot clock, great shot clock recognition. And you know, sometimes guy just knocks it in, right? Gets it off, got a great stroke, and had the confidence to put it up and put it in.
Answered prayer. Cameron Oriole played in 32 games, all 32 last year. Now is in a much bigger role as a starter, and now is being asked to be a go-to scorer.
He is going to be the catalyst, the engine that drives North Florida this year. Their hopes and aspirations are going to ride on him because, you know, there's some key members that we haven't even talked about tonight that Coach Kennan is not going to have in his repertoire, in his arsenal for the first few games, first few months of the season.
Offensive rebound for the Ospreys. Pass inside, Devin Hines everywhere, gets his own miss. Gets it to go. He's got 9 points.
Yeah, they're just quicker to the basketball right now. They're catching Tennessee flat-footed, and there's no reason why a team that has the lack of size should be offensive rebounding the way that they are.
Gillespie, nothing but net. The sharpshooter transfer from Maryland from deep.
That's what he does so very well. Every time he shoots the ball, you just think that it's going in.
Kent Jackson answers on the other end.
Kent Jackson, man, made Jacoby Gillespie pay because he went under that screen.
3 starting to fall for both sides. North Florida wants possession back. Will stay. Tennessee ball underneath.
Well, you look at this replay here. Can't go under the screen, man. You're in no man's land if you're Jacoby Gillespie because that's a really good shooter, right? He's already made 1. That's his second. Made Tennessee pay.
For North Florida, that is their 4th made 3 of this first half. Tennessee with 2. Inbounds Estrella, open rim, the flush.
Wow, I read that one like a book. You know, again, some great action from Tennessee, setting some screens, and Estrella slipped the screen, got to the basket, and finished with authority.
Really good baseline plays from Tennessee. Estrella now on the other end defensively, a deflection. These Tennessee big men not afraid to play on the perimeter.
No, in Tennessee, these are not emergency switches. They're just switching. And sometimes it gets them in trouble, but it's because of the athleticism of their bigs that they can afford to do that.
Gillespie. Mari Evans into the game for Tennessee. Kobe Gillespie off the mark. Can't hit the second straight, but Dwayne Brown is there. Amen. Feeding Estrella, and he's dominating inside.
Really good pass. You know, anytime you see a big like J.P. Estrella get 2 feet in the paint, you got to give him the rock, because more times than not, he's going to put it up and score.
8 points and 4 rebounds for Estrella inside, and that's an Osprey turnover.
You look at this replay, man, the slip of the screen when you least expect it. J.P. Estrella. And then here, get 2 feet in the paint, big guy. Turn around and just put it up.
Estrella played just 3 games last season. Highly recruited prospect out of Maine. Foot surgery took away a lot of his second year, but he seems very fresh early into his 3rd season in Knoxville. Another basket.
Yeah, man, that's like 9th grade math, man. It's just too easy, right? Well, not for me. That was for you, Andy. I mean, it's just too easy. Get the ball where it's supposed to be on the interior and just let the big man go to work.
Tennessee dominating in the paint offensively. North Florida looking for an answer, and there it is. B.J. Plummer, the freshman out of Tallahassee, knocks it down.
Yeah, Plummer took advantage of the tag defense, help side defense, just being a little late.
Estrella for 3, the big man showing the range.
Better respect him. I can do it inside, I can do it outside. He looks at the pitch and says, yeah. I knew I had it all the way.
Estrella is unconscious right now. 13 points for the big man, 6 of 7 from the floor. Now he's added the 3-pointer to his arsenal. Threes are flying on both ends off the mark.
But again, I know that North Florida missed that shot, but I really like the offense, right? Because again, they're making Tennessee move.
Estrella again. Can't connect. Whole building would have exploded.
Absolutely.
Oriole, 2 open that time.
Lack of intensity, lack of effort getting back. These are the type of possessions that you don't want to be in a Coach Barnes film study tomorrow.
North Florida, they are an up-tempo team. They don't mind to shoot the 3. It feels like their tempo of play right now.
This is their style of game. And you know, with the lack of size that they have, they run great offense, and they have to knock down their fair share of threes to stay within arm's reach. And right now, man, just a 4-point deficit with 6 minutes left in the first half.
Fantastic first half so far for North Florida. That is a deep 3 from Kent Jackson. Felt comfortable with it. Out to Plummer. The Ospreys, they've been rebounding the ball a lot better than they did in that first game against Florida so far.
Yet another offensive rebound for the Ospreys. That is absolutely unacceptable for Tennessee and all of the size that they employ.
Ament from the wing, draws the foul, and 3 crucial free throws. It is a 3-point barrage on both ends. A lot of offense so far in this one.
Yeah, great pass. Again, got off his feet, threw it over, finished great, and then J.P. Estrella, man, if you're going to leave me open, man, hand down, man down, I'm going to knock that down.
Almost a dream start if you're North Florida here on the road. It's 20th ranked Tennessee. 6 made 3-pointers. And then, Steve, we talked about rebounding was going to be so key. They were out-rebounding Tennessee. 8 offensive rebounds as well.
Yeah, you know, that is how you spring an upset if you're North Florida. You got to come in, you got to knock down threes, you got to limit offensive possessions for Tennessee, particularly on the glass, and they're doing just that by getting more offensive rebounds and rebounds overall than Tennessee.
Nate Amon at the line for 3 free throws. It's such an improvement. Bobby Kinnan talked about growth from game 1 to 2. It's a team that got out-rebounded by Florida 64-24.
And Florida has great size, but not the type of size that's different than Tennessee. You know, Tennessee has 5 big guys that can go in and utilize their strength to get rebounds. So North Florida, man, has grown by leaps and bounds from game 1 to game 2.
Nate Ament knocks in his free throws. Able to get a foul drawn from the three-point line, and now Vols back up 5. Bobby Kinnan talked about each section of a game being so important. It's like a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, and they've won the last 2 out of 3 4-minute segments. So that's how, again, you stay in a basketball game.
Steal for Tennessee. Transition. Amari Abram, a reversal. Good finish.
Yeah, great finish. Great offense from Tennessee. Sometimes, again, Andy, it's just make the simple play. That leads to, you know, simple offensive sets. That leads to simple baskets.
It is not a close game for lack of offense from Tennessee, shooting 54% from the floor. They've made 5 of their last 6, and now starting to apply some defensive pressure.
Well, it's got to be ratcheted up just a notch. And, you know, when you look at the fact that Tennessee's being out-rebounded and they are also, you know, turning the ball over. They got 5 turnovers so far in this basketball game. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but again, if you're going to try to spring an upset, if you're North Florida, you need to capitalize on all the turnovers that you can get.
Gillespie off the screen, in and out. Cade Phillips muscles his way up for 2.
Cade Phillips, man, he's got some hops and springs of his own.
Big time offensive rebound. Tennessee's 5th of the game. Devin Hines has been lethal for North Florida. He's sitting with 9 points. Nate Ament, deflection. Gillespie hits the deck. Abram throws it up. Phillips!
Nice. The high riser, Cade Phillips. Wonderful pass from Abram.
Everything in sync for the Vols on that one. Defense, offense, show-stopping play.
Hey, man, when you ratchet up the pressure, turn them over, it leads to, ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to see right here. Sweet, unselfish pass to Cade Phillips, playing above the rim.
.9-0 run. North Florida 3 turnovers their last 2 minutes. Steve, when they're not moving and getting the looks they want, the three-point line is where they've been the most successful tonight. That's what they're going to have to try to find out of this break.
Yeah, Coach Kinnan, this has got to be what he's going to preach, right? Because if we just take care of the ball and don't turn it over, we're getting our fair share of not only good looks, but great shots. Sometimes you need a little help, right, in that last shot there. But you know, all in all, he's got to be pleased with the effort and the performance that his team is putting forth here on the Summit.
Yeah, Bobby Kinnan talked about, he's a marathon runner himself, Steve. He says he's run 3 of them, and they've all been during the season, which is, how do you have the time for that? Impressive. Yeah. But he treats his games like a marathon where every section is its own little portion of the race. You got to win those little battles. They've won a few. Lost that last one. How do you come out of that break?
Well, you got to come out and you got to do something extraordinary like this right here. But I thought that's a wonderful set. Utilize Tennessee's defensive aggressiveness against them. Try to get a home run pass, but you just turn it over.
4 turnovers in the last 2 minutes for North Florida. Smooth finish on the other end for Abram, who's given some good minutes off the bench tonight.
I really like his game, man. The southpaw, you know, just smooth, subtle, can get to the basket when he wants, and he's really unselfish, and he's experienced. He's been around this game for a while. But you look at this here. You know, you close out. I'm a left-handed player, so you probably need to close out and make me go right. But if I'm going to be forced to go left, I'll do it, and I'll finish off the glass.
He's got the swag, right? The headband, the one sleeve, the hair, it's flowing.
Come on, man. You know, for Christmas, I think I'm going to ask for that hair.
Gillespie all over the place. Tennessee making it a lot more uncomfortable for North Florida defensively.
Yeah, something tells me that Coach Barnes and staff have really challenged Tennessee to step up their intensity and effort on the defensive end.
Oriole trying to do it all himself that time. He's off the mark. 3.5 remaining in the half, and that time Abram Ill-advised pass, ball still loose. Phillips on the deck. Abram for three. And a foul on Carey underneath.
You know, Jalen Carey, I think, is really going to help Tennessee as he becomes more and more acclimated to what Coach Barnes wants and needs of him. Because, you know, let's be honest, man, he gave Tennessee some work last year in both times that he, you know, challenged with Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Carey, an exciting pickup from Vanderbilt, SEC experience. Got the start in game one, only 10 minutes on Saturday, but it was more of a defensive look that Coach Barnes was going for against the Norse of Northern Kentucky. Tennessee, some pressure on the inbounds.
Good look here at the Knoxville native, Dante Oliver. Local product, great kid, great family.
Oliver, the son of Desmond Oliver, former Tennessee assistant until 2021. Coach at ETSU as well. Now back in Florida, coaching high school ball. Fun homecoming for Dante. Drive in. Little piece there for Okpara to deflect the shot.
Did everything but go in.
Tennessee by 13. 11-0 run currently for the Vols. Amen. Contact to the line. That's a lot of what Coach Barnes wants to see from Amen, is to draw contact, get to the line, and that he's done so in his first few games.
Yeah, and, you know, it's worth noting, it's been said before, but it bears repeating that someone like Nate, you know, he's slight of frame right now because his body is still filling out. But every time he gets hit, Andy, believe it or not, it's good for him, because it's only going to make him stronger when SEC play arrives, that is.
Amen has fully bought into this Tennessee program. Anytime you sign up to be coached by Rick Barnes, you sign up for some tough love, but a lot of growth, and he's bought in as well. The strength training, Garrett Maidenwall, nutrition, Amanda Fernandez. He's put on 20 pounds, Steve, since April when he committed.
Well, and that just speaks to how hungry he is to learn the game of basketball from a legendary coach like Coach Barnes that can help to get you to the next level, which is where you want to be.
The staff says he's not done as well. He's going to gain more weight as the season goes. Be ready for the physicality of, say, a Houston team here in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, what a challenge that's going to be, huh?
Drive in from Hines, can't get it to go. He's been so good following his shot, not that time. Check out the handles from Amen all the way to the rim. And that's what you love about this kid. So talented, still fighting and back to the line. Man.
And you see the smile on his face, like, man, I did everything but put it in there. Got fouled a multiplicity of times and just left it a little short on the George Gervin-esque finger roll. But you got to be excited about what he can bring, right? The offensive rebounding, the second chances. Look, I mean, he's got 8 points and 6 rebounds already.
The handles for a guy at his height says 6'11", 6'10". I think he's 7 feet. And then the ability to weave in traffic and almost look like a guard.
Yeah, the ceiling is just so high.
Unbelievable.
You talk about all the prognosticators at the next level, and they look at him because of the promise that he has, and he's only going to get better. The long arms, the athleticism, the high release point, you know, you can't say enough great things about him.
Everywhere Tennessee goes this season, there's going to be a lot of scouts nearby. Off the mark from the free throw line that time around. Trying to find Estrella inside, and a Tennessee turnover.
The best way to enter the ball into the post is dribbling down a little bit, getting a little closer to the baseline. It's really hard to make a great post pass from the elbow.
Kent Jackson had the green light. It's a scoring drought for North Florida. They don't have a point in the last 4.5 minutes. Tennessee's defense, this back stretch of the first half, has been relentless.
Defense has been great, but again, you look at what Tennessee just did there, right? You're on the verge of delivering perhaps a knockout punch. by getting a three, getting the crowd back into it, but then you turn it over, yet again. That's Tennessee's 7th turnover of the first half.
It's that balance, Steve, of Tennessee wants to play quick, but have to keep your head up. Steve got the word.
Got a little blood on the floor.
Okay.
Get a good look.
It's been a physical game.
Yeah, it's an official game now, right? You got a good look at Chad Newman, longtime trainer for Tennessee basketball, has done it at an elite level. But now you got to figure out, okay, who's bleeding, right?
Yeah.
That's the challenge.
Yeah, got to get the court figured out, get the player straightened out. Spotlight is on the training staff, great crew at Tennessee. That's exactly what Chad Newman is figuring out right now. But again, to your point, Steve, Tennessee, they're going to play quick this year, right? How do you balance, we play quick, but you got to keep your head up?
Well, and you not only got to keep your head up, but you got to play smart.
Yep.
Just because you're playing quick doesn't mean that you need to play out of control. And that's, again, not to use the same word a multiplicity of times, but that's a bugaboo for Tennessee basketball this early in the season. They're just out of control, and they can't seem to put together long stretches of no turnovers and baskets back to back to back. But we got to give some credit to the Ospreys now. Now, a minute and 30 seconds left in the first half, and it's a 15-point deficit. So you're still within arm's length of a really good Tennessee basketball team on their home court.
Troy Henderson was the culprit there. He's staying in the game. He's bandaged up. No harm. Mini timeout for both sides to collect their thoughts with 90 seconds left in the first 20. And it has been an aggressive start for North Florida, but Tennessee has neutralized what North Florida was able to do in that first 12 minutes of action. Really good close to the first half for the home team.
Well, if you're North Florida, you want to utilize the shot clock. You want to limit Tennessee's possessions for the remainder of the first half and try to get something going to the basket.
Jackson, he's had the green light all night. Creates an open Oriole. Can't buy it. That would have been huge to lift the rim up for North Florida. 5 minutes since they've got a point.
Literally the perfect possession because you drove, made Tennessee move, you kicked to the open guy, and the shot just didn't fall.
Berg left open to the free throw line. He's got 2 points in his first Tennessee start. Can't drop that one in.
I like Berg's game as well. And for someone that was as late of an arrival to Tennessee's campus, man, he's really showed himself to be a worthy candidate to solidify a start.
What a dime from Nate Ament. He finds Estrella, who's had one of the best halves of anyone on the court. JP's with 15 now.
Yeah, again, you talk about Nate Ament and all the things that he can do. That was really, really unselfish, kept his head up, and found a wide open lob opportunity for JP Estrella.
Ament, 9 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists in the first half. Great stat line from talented freshman. 5 seconds between shot and game. Oriole baseline, way off the mark. Can Tennessee get a shot off here? 2 now. Bird firing off the rim, but a great close to half for Tennessee. Held North Florida scoreless for 6 minutes to close.
Yeah, and you would think, Andy, that your lead would be bigger than 17, but you give so much credit to Coach Kenner and the Ospreys for coming in here and fighting hard, especially here in this first half.
Vols by 17 after 20. Second half on the other side. Down here in Knoxville, game 3 of the year for Tennessee, second for North Florida, first ever meeting, and it was a up-tempo, hectic, a lot of offense in that first half, but Tennessee out in front by 17 as we're just about ready to start the second half. Former Vol Steve Hamer, Andy Brock with you for this one. Steve, North Florida had it with 6 minutes to go in the first half, had a 2-point game. Something clicked for Tennessee defensively to get out to the 17-point lead where we're at now.
I think that was a strong talking to in a timeout by Coach Barnes and staff to get the kids to understand that, man, if we just stop turning the ball over, take care of the basketball, get good shots, we can extend this lead. Now, when you look at Devin Hines in North Florida, they're very lucky to be within 17 going 6 minutes plus without scoring a field goal. But the way that they did that is by getting offensive rebounds, easy putbacks, and it leads to these type of attempts here in open threes.
Devin Hines led the way for North Florida in that first half with 9 points. Tennessee, though, Steve, did a really good job of feeding the paint. J.P. Estrella was almost unstoppable.
Yeah, J.P. Estrella, whatever he wants to do, he can do it in this particular basketball game. Tennessee just got to do a better job of feeding the post. Even when he misses, he's going to get his own offensive rebound. And again, by the way, man, I've worked on this all summer long. I got confidence. I've got the stroke. I've got the belief that I'm going to knock down the open threes when they come.
At that 6-minute mark of the first half, North Florida was out-rebounding Tennessee. They had made 6 threes. From that point, North Florida did not score a point. And Tennessee all of a sudden now out-rebounding North Florida by a margin of 12. So something completely shifted there for Tennessee. They're going to try to find some of that similar magic to start this half.
Coach Kenner, on the other end, he wants to make sure that he gets a good offensive possession right here, try to score the basketball, and believe that you can win the next 4-minute segment.
Really tough schedule that North Florida has this season. At Florida, at Tennessee to start is about as tough as it gets for a first-year head coach. But he's been with this program now for 17 years. He knows it is all a growth mindset this early in the season.
And that's building some togetherness, right? That's building teamwork, camaraderie. We talked about the boot camp that he put his kids through preseason this year to build that teamwork, that sense of family. And it's got to pay off at some point. But I'm going to tell you what pays off right now is Nate Ament going to the basket.
Massive cram for Nate Ament, who stuffed the stat sheet, Steve, in the first half. He's got 11 points, 6 rebounds, 4 dimes.
And you look up and you're like, wait, he's got that much? Because he's a facilitator, he's a willing participator by scoring the basketball, he can rebound, he can do it all.
And he can dunk the ball, Steve.
Just the long strides. You know, you just take off. You have to have those long strides, man. And with those long arms, it's just easy for him to get to the 10.
SEC Freshman of the Week after 2 games. Here's the oop to Phillips. A poster on the lob.
2-man game. Again, they work that to perfection. Strong side, pick and roll, the release, the great pass, and the finish. Kate Phillips.
Tennessee fully clicking now at this point. And finally, a bucket for North Florida. Mason Lee ends what was a near 7-minute drought there for North Florida, stretching back to the first half.
Really needed that basket to go down, and that was a sweet stroke by Mason Lee. They're going to need more production from him.
7th 3 of the game for North Florida as a team. Jacoby Gillespie off the mark on the floater attempt.
Now, can you put together back-to-back baskets to get yourselves just a little closer?
Hines, 9 points in that first half. Hit a pair of threes. Cameron Oriole led the way with 19 against Florida. Tennessee has turned up the defensive pressure. No contact on that drive. They're going to get Ethan Bird with the foul.
What you see right now from Tennessee is they're getting put in rotation. You go back and you look at this little 2-man game here. The roll to the basket and the guy that's willing to always throw it up, Jacoby Gillespie.
Fresh shot clock for North Florida. North Florida, not that they were rushing, but they had a lot of quick possessions in that first half. A little different pace there here in that last possession to lead through the fresh shot clock now.
Yeah, And then, I was going to say just a second ago, you're getting Tennessee in rotation because Tennessee can't keep their opponent in front of them. You got to be able to guard your yard. You got to lock down the person that you're guarding, because if you can't, if they blow by, it gets you in rotation or out of rotation, and it leads to wide open jumpers.
Kent Jackson on the drive. He had a pair of threes in the first half. He's up to 8 points.
And there's another blow by.
Back-to-back baskets for North Florida on there in the court. Gillespie off the screen. Another lob for Cade Phillips. It's twice now in the half.
Yeah, North Florida's really going to have to do a better job of tagging, and that's bringing a weak side defender to be on that help side, or else that's going to be all night long.
Cade Phillips with 8 points, and 3 of them have been via the lob. Tennessee does a really good job of setting up those big men that they do have to be able to make easy baskets at the rim.
Yeah, Tennessee really sets up their offense by getting into some floppy action or some money action, and that's just getting the guard into the heart of the paint and running him off of either side of a screen.
Jackson off the mark, offensive board for Mason Lee, and again, Tennessee, great interior defense.
Good heads-up help from Nate Ament.
Ament the spin. Maybe trying to do too much to drop it off to Okpara, gives it away.
Yeah, that's just a great illustration there of just trying to do too much, right? If you're Nate Ament, man, you got to go straight up with that. You're wide open, go up with that, lay it in, but that leads to a fast break possession on the other end for North Florida.
Ament has been really good at sharing the ball. 4 assists in this game. Here's a 3 from the left side. Offensive board, Phillips. Abram about as open as you could get.
Woo! That's pure, man. That is pure. Good extra pass from Jacoby Gillespie.
Amari Abram, no points in his last outing against Northern Kentucky. Big 3 there moves him up to 7 on the evening. Hines, step back 3. Can't get it.
Probably forced that one just a little bit too much, right?
North Florida 7 of 24 from 3, and Nate Ament again doing a good job of drawing contact. He'll get 2 shots.
That's what Nate Ament can do. Sometimes he's just a little too unselfish, but here you talk about an unselfish play. That's Jacoby Gillespie getting it over to Amari Abram for the sweet stroke and the 3-pointer.
Teams are always trying to get that right chemistry, but a lot of that is built in the offseason that you don't see. First-year head coach Bobby Kinnan, longtime member of the North Florida program. His first year as head coach, he started something called Team Tuesdays. Tuesday nights, obviously. Guys are coming to the house. We're feeding you. We're hanging out. We're bonding.
Cohesion, chemistry, connectedness. That's what you got to build, especially when you have the amount of newcomers. It's hard, man. In this economy, again, we talked about this before, Andy, but when you're a mid-major in this economy with the advent of the transfer portal, NIL and all that, man, you got to find a sense of team, and you got to develop it quickly. And I think that's a wonderful idea to bring guys together every Tuesday to your home abode and feed them a meal, man. Nothing welcomes a player like coming to a coach's house and eating a meal.
That is reality in mid-major basketball, is roster turnover. You're going to lose guys to the transfer portal, and then at the same time, you want to lose guys to the next level because that means they performed at a really high level where you are at, and that's a recruiting point for North Florida because they've done that.
Yeah, you look no further than Chaz Lanier. I mean, who came from North Florida and still calls both of these places home because he got his start there.
Gillespie, 3. Can't get it. Estrella everywhere. Phillips everywhere. 2 more shots for Tennessee.
This is what I expected to see at the onset of this game. Just, offensive rebound after offensive rebound after offensive rebound.
Check that out, Steve. It's the Chaz Lanier game tonight. 4 years at North Florida, and then one really good year last season for Tennessee. 18 points a game for the Vols.
Yeah, still has a great relationship with not only Coach Barnes, obviously, but Coach Kennan as well. He couldn't say enough great things about the player, the person that is Chaz Lanier. Shared a very interesting story about how Chaz Lanier gave Coach Kenner a book and wanted him to read the book, and to come to find out later on, the athletic director had no idea that he had given him the book, and the athletic director wanted all the coaching staff to read that same book.
Yeah, Coach Kennan, hard foul there. Coach Kennan talked about just Chaz Lanier for 4 years really bought into what that North Florida program was doing, but then to see him then grow at Tennessee and now playing Detroit basketball and getting good minutes for the Pistons, that's such a valuable asset. It always is going to be a part of the Osprey family, and Tennessee will say the same thing, obviously.
It speaks to someone that comes in, that's hungry, that's humble, that wants to do it the right way. But even beyond that, Andy, it speaks to someone that's coachable. That doesn't just happen. Chaz Lanier comes from a wonderful family, and he's just a byproduct of that family.
Only Chaz knows who he's cheering for in this game tonight. I don't know if he'll say it to either staffs. Both staffs would like to say them. If we could get him on the broadcast, we would.
We got to work on that.
Yeah, this would have been the one. Giveaway there for Tennessee.
And there you see an area for growth for Nate Ament, right? Again, being stronger with the ball. That's just a careless turnover. But once you develop that grown man strength, he's gonna be better.
Get Jackson off the backboard. Hasn't been shy to fire a deep three. Ament in position. Can't hit it. He's come up a bit short on a few of those. Tennessee's done a good job of cleaning it up.
Yeah, and he's going to have to go stronger than that, because once he gets to late December and January, there's going to be some shot blockers at the rim that are going to meet him there.
Jackson amongst the Tennessee big men. Couldn't get it, but a great putback as Diachuk, graduate forward, puts it in.
Diachuk, right spot, right time.
Ari Evans, another freshman for Tennessee in the game. That's the fourth freshman that has seen the court so far for Tennessee. Ament, kiss off the glass that time.
Really easy for Ament. Little jab step with the right. Go to left, his weak hand, man. Just go up and put it in.
Offense running through Kent Jackson, and a good layup for sophomore guard who's really impressed here tonight, transferred from Jacksonville.
Back-to-back buckets for the Ospreys.
Both teams trading buckets here about midway through the second half. Ament looking for his first three of the night, no good.
That one was probably a forced shot from Ament.
Oriole the other way. Again, Tennessee, their paint defense has been so good tonight. Evans the other way, two shots coming up.
That's a really good take from Evans. Was kind of bailed out a little bit with a foul. Again, you want to see Tennessee play off of 2 feet. Most times, if not all times, when you play off of 2 feet, good things will happen.
A little extra at the end of this one, Steve.
A little extra. JP just, showing him who's boss, and I got to take up for my guy.
Evans can't get it to go. Tennessee 8 of 14 from the free throw line. These moments are really important for a guy like Amari Evans. Again, mentioned no Bishop Boswell. He started the first 2 games for Tennessee, out tonight. A guy like Amari Evans, these are the games where you have to prove yourself and allow Rick Barnes to feel comfortable with you out on the court.
Yeah, so if you're Tennessee and Coach Barnes, you've got a couple of spots that are locked down, that are immovable. Jacoby Gillespie, he's going to be your day one starter. You got someone like Felix Akpar, your day one starter. More than likely, this is where Nate Ament, your day one starter. So you got a couple of spots that if you're someone that's sitting on that bench right now, you got to go, man, what can I do to catch the coach's eye to carve out some of that valuable playing time for myself?
You always see a new version of a Rick Barnes Tennessee team. You say, well, this is the best that this team has, the best shooting team Rick Barnes' team has had, the best paint presence. What do you feel like this team is going to be the strongest at that we've seen from a Tennessee team in a few years?
I think the simple answer is depth. They're going to be best at depth. And I know that's not a great answer, but it's because of the depth that they have that they can get a 10-second violation here with the guys that they have on the floor. This is what Tennessee has lacked for several years now. You go back and you look at last year, Andy, they had 7 guys, maybe 8 guys that they could count on night in and night out. That's a deep bench he's got right now.
Gillespie off the mark from 3. He is 1 for 6 from behind the arc. Only so many minutes to go around for this Tennessee squad. And Rick Barnes has said many times these freshmen are going to play. They have shown that they deserve to be in. Big moments for them here as Gillespie hard to the rim. Draw the contact, 2.
Well, I've said it before, but the only way to have an experience is to have an experience. And you got to let these young pups, man, you got to let them grow. And they need all of this, playing time that they're getting. I love this attack, though, by Jacoby Gillespie, man. You see the open avenue to the basket, attack it, get yourself to the free throw line. Sometimes that gets you into a rhythm.
And the free throw number is something a coach loves. Coach Barnes is going to love 17 free throw shots at this point. 6 missed free throws, though, maybe not so much.
That's the problem. You're going to need to knock down your fair share of free throws, because when you're playing much stiffer competition, especially when SEC play starts, man, the charity stripe can be the difference between winning and losing.
2 easy ones that time for Gillespie. A steal from Abram, trying to go back up, and 2 more shots. Good hustle play from Abram. You talk about earning more time.
And, you're a Sade fan, the artist Sade.
Oh, yeah.
Because Abram is a smooth operator,
okay.
Right? Just got his hands in the cookie jar with the steal and gets paid off by going to the free throw line.
Tennessee has been really good in the paint. A lot of them have been easy baskets. Lob City, Kid Phillips has been active, and that's part of what Rick Barnes wants is these easy 2s.
Tennessee's got a lot of high flyers, man, a lot of rim attackers. And any time that you can get the ball point blank at the basket, obviously it's a great thing. So, Andy, when you have the type of size advantage, you would think that Tennessee would want to do that a little bit more. You look at the points in the paint right now, Andy, and it's an astounding number. Tennessee is in, it has 40 paint points. Juxtapose that with North Florida, they have 18. So, Tennessee can get that all they want.
That has to make you happy, correct?
Hey, man, I'm a big guy. I love talking about the post play.
Could you have made a 3 top of the key like Estrella?
I wasn't allowed to.
Oh.
Yeah, this is old school basketball and me talking. I don't know that I would play in today's game because, man, I was very much so a back to the basket center, but everyone was.
Yep.
Today's game, man, is get up and down, the flow. It's changed so much.
A lot more 7-footers being asked to drive the ball and handle the ball.
Yeah, you look at someone like a Nate Ament, who's 6'10", that can do it all. He's just the quintessential big guy that can play outside as well as inside.
You talk about what the profile NBA scouts look for. That is Nate Ament, and it's a very talented crop of freshmen in college basketball this season. He's going to have some stiff competition in terms of some end-of-the-year first-year player awards.
He is he's hungry, and again, he's very coachable, and something tells me that he is going to play at the next level for a long time.
Lots of preseason notoriety. The crowd is loud for the free throw attempt. 0 for 2. The crowd's going to win Chick-fil-A. How about that?
Chick-fil-A nuggets. You know, it's not often that you see the Tennessee student section harassing the officials wanting a foul call against the home team.
That is as loud as it will get in a 25-point game.
Another paint touch. J.P. Estrella has really worked on that jump hook. It's really unblockable because Coach Barnes teaches him to release it at the highest point. And when he's that crafty with the footwork, man, it's an easy game for him.
Yeah, Estrella is a player that only played in 3 games last year, but Steve, he looks like a guy that didn't miss a beat at all.
He's really worked all summer long, and not having the opportunity to help his team, especially in crunch time last year. Think about how much he could have helped Tennessee basketball against Houston. You know, just another big body that's athletic.
Think about what he was able to do as a true freshman. He played a career-high 15 minutes in the Elite Eight game against Zach Edey and Purdue, and really played hard in that one. And it was setting him up for a big second year that he didn't get to live out.
Yeah, he's going to live up to the hype. You know, I call him the Maine man because obviously he is from Maine, pun intended, Andy.
Well done.
But just an incredible player.
Estrella has now tied a career high, he said on Saturday. 17 points.
The Ospreys really needed that. You know, Cameron Oriole stemming the tide to stay in this basketball game within arm's reach because it's getting out of control just a little bit. They're going to need more of that.
Clarence Masamba in the game for Tennessee, a freshman out of France, gives it up that time, but some, again, valuable minutes for another young player on this Tennessee roster they're excited about.
Another learning opportunity. Clarence Masamba will understand that Coach Barnes wants him to make that pass. And that's a great wraparound pass, but he can't make that pass if the defender's playing on the high side. You know, you got to take another dribble closer to the baseline to make an easier pass.
Good ball movement for Tennessee. Gillespie hits his second 3 here of the evening. 2 for 7 from distance.
Really good ball movement and unselfish play from Tennessee's offense.
Estrella and Brown inside, a foul called on Tennessee. You talk about Masamba and then Ethan Berg for Tennessee that got this start. Those are 2 guys that were not with the team in the summer, but yet, again, to Tennessee's depth point, they are going to contribute minutes this season for the Vols.
They really are. And you look at Masamba, you look at his stature. You know, he's got a college-ready body. It's just how quickly can he learn the system and gain the eyes of Coach Barnes and the coaching staff.
A couple of subs for Rick Barnes' side. Take 2 big men out, put 2 more in. That is one of the fun wrinkles for Tennessee that they haven't typically had. And you think about Rick Barnes' coach teams, especially early in his tenure with Tennessee, it was really developed around the big men, Grant Williams, John Fulkerson, and how he able to grow them from a freshman that maybe didn't have scouts jumping off the pages to see him into perennial stars in the league.
Yeah, you go back to someone like Kyle Alexander.
Yep.
You know, those type of guys that stay around, that mature in the program, and they turn into, you know, all-conference type players.
Short stint there for Cade Phillips, but again, another big man rotating in Jalen Carey. It's going to keep guys, one, out of foul trouble that you have these bodies. You hopefully have continuity when you do make those subs. But then fatigue as well. It's a physical game inside.
Yeah, great dribble handoff action from North Florida.
Kent Jackson has been real good from distance.
Yeah, he can stroke it now. You know, you need to run some more sets for him.
A three on the other end for Tennessee. Nate Ament from distance. He's got 17.
You probably also need to close out. You know, if you're going to go to a matchup zone, man, you got to know where the shooters are. And Nate Ament is more than capable of knocking down that open three.
His first three-pointer here of the evening. A very quick answer for Tennessee. Jackson again firing, and he hits. It's back-to-back for Kent Jackson. He's got 16 points.
Saw them work on that set earlier today. Little screen action. Ran that Iverson cut. Got wide open for the three.
Ament wants another. He can't hit. Jackson will win that mini battle. Back and forth between the two.
If there's one guy that I'm going to try to get a shot off right now, it's Jackson.
He's waiting for it there on that left wing. Swinging it back to him. Does he have three in a row in him? Good defense from Okpara. Masamba on Hines inside. Great take. Devin Hines finishes.
Good move. Good utilization of the head and shoulders fake. Got Masamba off balance and finished it the kiss of the glass. So, Andy, you know, we talked about winning the next 4 minutes. Now, all of a sudden, you know, 20-point lead. Can you carve into it a little more?
The ball landed right in the hands of Jalen Carey. A good rebound up for two.
Jalen Carey just looks like a man's man out there.
Yep. Father Vernon Carey Sr., longtime NFL career. His brother was a Freshman of the Year winner at Duke. A lot of athletes in that family. Three from Oriole. No good. Amen. Gillespie, look at that move. Sends a man flying. Can't finish the highlight play. Offensive rebounds everywhere for Tennessee.
Too many long arms right there that are just right there at the 10 that can put it back up and in. But an incredible move from Gillespie.
Again, 14 minutes into this game, North Florida was winning the rebounding battle despite being at a severe disadvantage in height. Tennessee buttoned that up pretty quick.
They have, and they're limiting, you know, those second chance possessions from North Florida.
Do you attribute some of that to just game fatigue? North Florida came out really jumpy, really aggressive. It's a Tennessee team that's going to inevitably wear you down if you play almost to that speed.
Yeah, and you got to give North Florida a lot of credit, man, not being intimidated. Again, we talked about them going to Exact Tech Arena as the block party has started here. But, you know, they came into this environment not intimidated, and they jumped on Tennessee early because they had that experience of being in a big-time environment. 7
block shots for this Tennessee defense. Okpara rejects that one. All Tennessee in the second half. Tennessee with comfortable lead here in Knoxville. This is game 3 of what is going to be a gauntlet when it's all said and done in non-conference play. Of course, you go to Vegas for a huge tournament, and you're going to face Rutgers at Houston and a potential other top 25 team. And then that one against Louisville at home, that is going to be a ruckus crowd in Knoxville.
So you look at the first 5 games that Tennessee has, and those might be classified as a tune-up. But then you look here on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, Rutgers, no pushover. Number 1, Houston, Syracuse, Louisville, who dispatched of a really pesky Kentucky Wildcat basketball team last night. Man, that's a gauntlet.
There's a lot of ways to build a schedule, especially for a Power 4 team. You know, a lot of teams right away, they play top 10 matchup, top 25 matchup game 1. It's a good strategy from Tennessee. They tend to do it differently. There's not one way that Rick Barnes does it, but to get these first 5 games, as you mentioned, to figure some things out about yourself as a team, and then that's when you go head-to-head with some of the best in the nation as well.
Well, the schedule, and it was masterfully done. You knew that the camaraderie and the cohesion was just not going to be there, especially with so many newcomers. You lost to Zakai Ziegler and Jemai Meshack, stalwarts of Tennessee basketball. So you got to build that chemistry, and it's going to take some time.
Yeah, 2 significant losses, obviously, with Zakai Ziegler, Jemai Meshack. One from a defensive aspect, but just vocally as leaders. And that's not an easy thing to fill. There are a lot of guys that are going to need to step up and be that locker room presence. Tennessee has some upperclassmen that have been here that can do that, but that's a big point in these early games.
Who's going to be that vocal leader that is sorely missed from last year? I know that Coach Barnes would really like for that to be someone like a Jacoby Gillespie, who has that, you know, big-time experience playing for Maryland last year, playing for Belmont. So he's been around, but you know, the question still remains: who's going to be that vocal leader that is going to take charge in dire situations like Tennessee, no doubt, is going to face this year?
Tennessee by 30. 9-0 run currently. The collision on that one between Ament and Hines.
Nate is going to utilize a massage, perhaps a masseuse to give a massage here, because he's been hit a few times tonight. But again, that's good for him at this stage of his career to develop that toughness.
Clearly, obviously, in your eyes, Steve, Nate has handled these first 3 games with a lot of poise.
Without a doubt. He has acquitted himself very well. That's a good big-to-big pass.
Oh, Akpara just bullies his way to the rim.
They found a mouse in the house, took advantage of it and put it in.
Tennessee just dominant in the interior, and that's the big part of this game. They had the height advantage, and they utilized it, particularly down the stretch of that first half and in the second. North Florida 3 from the corner. That's been their bread and butter as Dante Oliver connects.
Love, again, that kid, the local product, worked his rear end off, developed into a really nice player that's going to be counted on for some big-time baskets from North Florida.
Barnes frustrated by that turnover. Devin Hines misses the 3 on the other end. Henderson, smooth jump shot off the mark.
Ospreys may want to pull it out here. We got a man down. Can't quite get the number.
Looks like Mason Lee, redshirt sophomore out of Jacksonville Beach, Florida. Looks like he twisted his ankle coming down from that rebound attempt.
Seems to have just a little hitch in his giddy up here. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Oh, you know, you just, unfortunately, you step on someone's foot, man, and bad things happen when you do.
The North Florida team, they're down a little size in the paint. They're down 2 pretty key players in this lineup, so they're not full strength as well. Gillespie altered that shot, got a piece of it. It has been block city for this Tennessee team.
Gillespie's just such a good player. Once he really gets his feet wet with this Tennessee basketball team, look out. The all-conference awards are just going to be numerous for him, in my opinion. Now, the conference is extremely deep. It's a talented league again this year, but he's going to carve out some of those awards.
For both of these teams, Steve, how important are the final few minutes of a game? You know, you might know the result at this point. How important are these minutes right here?
Well, you got to finish strong. You have to finish strong. You know, if you're Tennessee, you want to finish by extending the lead even more, playing even harder, playing tougher, getting little putbacks like that. Because I can tell you this, as much of a stickler as Coach Barnes is for film study, every minute, every possession counts.
What's going to be the one thing Coach Barnes circles after this one before Rice on Monday for Tennessee?
Turnovers, no doubt. And then secondarily, the lack of intensity from the start in terms of what you just saw there. When Tennessee has a 6'11", when they've got a 6'10", when they've got a 6'10", those point-blank basket looks cannot happen.
Tennessee by 29, a little under 4 to go in this one. Ever meeting, this is just the second of what is a really tough non-conference stretch for North Florida. That's life as a mid-major. You typically load up your schedule early. You see the best of the best to know where you need to be at to compete with them come tournament time. And again, it's conference season that matters, and really it's one weekend that matters. That's your conference championship tournament.
Well, Coach Kennan said it best. You know, when you challenge your team in an environment like Gainesville, Florida, Knoxville, Tennessee, and Gonzaga, it's only going to pay dividends when conference play starts. And you know, as he intimated to us in shoot-around, it doesn't matter if you go 18-0 in conference play. It comes down to 3 days in March. Can you count on your team to have valuable experience from this environment to get you 3 wins in March?
Ospreys picked 9th by the media in the ASUN. Bobby Kinnan joined this program as an assistant in 2009, helped get the team to the NCAA tournament in 2015. 3 conference regular season titles as an assistant. He knows what it takes to win in that conference. They're certainly going to have their hands full first 2 months of the season before that.
You like the challenge, right? We've all been there, Andy, where you're an underdog, a decided disadvantage with size and things that nature. But you want to make sure, great move by Dante Oliver there to get that to go in. But you want to make sure that you give your best every single night, regardless of the score. If you're North Florida, if you're the Ospreys right now, as far as I'm concerned, it's 0-0. I'm winning the next possession.
Bobby Kinnan has built a fantastic staff to guide this Osprey team through this first season with him as the head coach. He retained Stephen Perkins and Bruce Evans. They've been with the program now for 13 years. You bring in Bob Marlin, legendary coach in the Sun Belt, Louisiana at Sam Houston State. And then Carter Hendrickson, 3-time All-A-Sun, one of the best players in this program's history. So that's a great staff he's got with him.
Can't say enough about, as Gillespie knocks down a 3, I cannot say enough about North Florida, their staff that Coach Kinnan has put together. You look at this curling the screen, great screen by J.P. Estrella. Gillespie does what he does best. That's knock it down.
Up his guys down the stretch. Never over till that final horn sounds early in the season. This is what the next 5 look like for Tennessee. Again, you got 2 more sort of tune-ups against Rice at Tennessee State next week, and then we hit a real gauntlet of teams that you might see in March when you go to the Players Era Men's Championship in Las Vegas.
What you see right there on the screen is just an escalating amount of games in terms of the complexity, the scouting. There's a lot that's going to go into each and every one of those games. You know, starting with Rice, you know, the Rice is going to be just a little bit better than what you see tonight. And then you go out to Las Vegas, and man, there's 16, 18 teams out there that could win that tournament.
A really compelling rematch of that Elite 8 game that Tennessee played and lost to Houston, and the Cougars eventually went to the national championship game. So obviously high physicality matchup anytime Houston and Tennessee takes the court.
Ooh, good ball fake. Great ball fake.
Alton Gaiman, grad transfer from Purdue Northwest, gets it to go.
You talk about that Houston matchup, man. That's going to be a knockdown, drag-out battle.
A must-watch in Vegas, like most of those games. In Tennessee, they're going to play a 3rd game as well in that Players Era format. It's TBD, and who knows how that is seeded, because a lot of teams are there, and you play 2 games, and it's like, well, let's figure out then who plays who after that.
It's really a who's who of the teams that's out there. You talk about blue bloods of basketball, in which I think Tennessee has garnered that respect to be called a blue blood of basketball.
You talk about not being able to have a big jam from Dalton Gaiman. Big flush. Talk about not having a scouting report for that 3rd game. That is going to be a true turnaround test like you might see in March. Kind of have an idea in March, but this one,
Yeah, and that's going to be good for Tennessee. The turnaround, the tournament play, the intensity, the focus, the drive in which you're going to need to win back-to-back-to-back basketball games. But going back, Andy, to North Florida, man, I cannot say enough great things about how they've continued to fight this basketball game tonight. I mean, they have not quit. The chips have been certainly down. You're down by 28 points, but they have kept fighting. And I think that speaks to the leader in which they have. One of the best shoot-arounds that I've ever been involved in. You know, when they got done today, Andy, every one of their student athletes, the trainer, the manager, the coaches, they all came over to shake my hand and say, hey, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching shoot-around. And that just speaks to the character that they have, and starts at the top.
That is unbelievable. An incredible moment for you, and to see kind of the family relationship that this North Florida program has. They're not trying to be perpendicular. They're trying to continue upwards.
Great use of the word perpendicular.
Yep,
Andy.
You like that?
Yeah. Is that a colloquialism for crooked?
Wow.
Is that what that is?
You just said a lot of words right there, Steve. One big word at a time.
We really haven't seen a whole lot out of Dwayne Brown tonight. Not the playing time as we've seen in the last couple of games from Tennessee.
It figures with how many post players that Tennessee has, that playing time is going to, for at least one or two of them, be a bit skewed from the rest of it. That's the benefit. You can match up based on who you're playing against and maybe even ride the hot hand too.
And I think he did that tonight. That is Coach Barnes. You know, J.P. Estrella had his way tonight, and really led the way from a post player perspective, going 9 of 12. Cade Phillips played well tonight also. And sometimes, as you just mentioned, Andy, those odd nights, man, everybody can't get the minutes. There's only so many minutes to go around.
J.P. Estrella with 19 points, but Steve, he's only played 18 minutes, which is incredible production for one, but it just shows how much depth and trust Tennessee has in their paint players. Huge block on the other end. Estrella cleans it up and adds to his total.
Johnny on the spot again for Estrella, but what led to that was Amari Abrams' steal. Again, he's just so smooth, man. Great hands. Going to be a really good player here on Rocky Top.
Well, Florida a good close of this game. They've made 4 of their last 5 field goal attempts. Oliver out to the corner, and a last chance 3 here for the Osprey. The Ospreys can't get it to go. Berg on their way. Tennessee searching for triple digits. Still a chance. Abram inside Estrella. What a find and an easy dunk for JP.
And you're thinking at home tonight, man, why didn't Coach Barnes take out the starters? Why didn't he put the reserves in? Well, you look out there, and there are no starters out there.
So much depth on this Tennessee team, and they've been able to flex it today. You talk about every minute matters for this North Florida team. Bobby Kinnan wants a timeout. Got to focus, play the final whistle, final possession. You love it.
Well, I like the timeout, especially because this is a teaching moment. And you go back on the other end, Amari Abram, man, the ever-willing passer. J.P. Estrella right there on the spot. But I like this timeout, Andy, because there's 11 seconds left, and this is a teachable moment for his young basketball team. Odds are, at some point this season, they're going to find themselves down a bucket. They're going to find themselves up a bucket with 11 seconds left, and you need to have that play that you can bank on from an environment like this, that you can, go get a basket.
And you don't view this as one full game. You view it as every section is the same throughout the season. You're playing just as hard right now as you would in March. North Florida drawing something up with 5 now on the game clock. Estrella got a piece of it. Foul is called, and there you go. North Florida able to get 2 shots at the line.
Well, this chess match. So you're Coach Barnes, right? 11 seconds left. Okay, I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to go to a matchup zone to throw you off. Might have got a little body there. No.
Well, Tennessee on Saturday, Steve, 24 assists. They topped that with 25 tonight. Sharing the ball. 3 guys with 17-plus points on this Tennessee team as well. Shared the love.
But you also have back-to-back games with 10-plus turnovers, and the majority of those are in the first half. But nonetheless, you'll take a win. A win is a win is a win. North Florida, kudos to them, but Tennessee just overwhelmed them and overpowered them tonight.
It's always a work in progress, but Tennessee are going to be all smiles to start this season 3-0. First ever meeting with the Ospreys. It goes the Vols' way here at home. What a crew we had tonight. Steve Hamer, Andy Brock signing off from Knoxville. It's all Tennessee over North Florida tonight.